Costa Rica Chronicles. So it's what, 12:30, noon, high noon, very hot. And even though I have a vehicle, I decided to walk to the grocery store, mostly to something to do, but also, you know, I like the idea behind sort of, you know, picking up your cross and carrying your weight and not taking the easy road. I often will do that on purpose, you know. If you're at a building and you have the option of taking stairs or an elevator, take the stairs. It's better for you, it's better for your soul. So anyways, I'm not bragging or anything. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. It's just a practice that I try and take on whenever possible. So besides, I don't want to get fat and lazy and get used to just driving around all the time. As you know, walking is good for you. It's one of the best exercises. So anyways, as I was saying, or was I saying? Okay, well, I'm saying it now. I've had a few thoughts. Have you ever heard something when you were younger and hello, and it kind of fascinated and resonated and you didn't know why? I had a couple of memories from way back. Hola. And those guys are chilling out in the shades, eh? People are friendly down here. Anyway, so there's two in particular. There's probably more, but there's two that, you know, I don't remember a lot of my childhood or youth, but I do remember a couple of occasions. One, I was 17 years old. I was kicked out of high school, and it was just an awful time. And I was living with my uncle in Prince George, and I was working for him for 3 months. It literally was a turn of event in my life that changed my life. It's pretty windy here, so I'm trying to block that wind noise. I hope it works out, so I'm getting my face really close to the microphone here. But anyways, again, I don't remember much, but one morning he sat me down. I guess I had been there 2-3 days, and I think he was frustrated. See, my uncle, he's never married, 79 years old now, and very successful businessman. He didn't want a punk-ass 17-year-old like me living with him. So I know he was frustrated. I was extremely, what's the word? Did not know how to communicate. Had no sense of self. I had a long ways to go before I discovered that. Did you hear that? It's called a howler monkey. Anyways, it was in the morning. He sat me down at the kitchen table and he said, "Rob, in life, the most important thing you need to do is communicate." I had no idea what he was talking about at the time. So I'm going to get back to that in a second. The other thing, a few years later, I was 21 years old. Hello. And I had my first girlfriend. And I remember we were talking about, with her family, we were talking about smoking, quitting smoking, because I was a smoker back then. And she wasn't, and her dad wasn't. He had quit years before. But he said something that I always remembered. I found it fascinating. He said that when you quit cigarette smoking, your personality changes. I had no idea what he meant. I had no idea what my uncle meant when he said the most important thing in life is to communicate. But both those things stuck with me. And they manifested throughout my life, more in particular when I was 31 years old and I sobered up. One of the first things I did to improve myself was to join Toastmasters, and I learned to communicate. And I joined it thinking I was going to be in it for a year and I was going to quit because it scared the hell out of me. I ended up staying in it 11 years. Reached like the highest level you could reach, short of DTM. And you know, I held all the positions pretty much in on the board of directors, and took up every opportunity I could to communicate and get out in the community and, you know, So my fear of public speaking just went away. So communication, and to this day, was and is one of the most important things in my life. So, go figure. I don't know if there's a connection there. There's a point to why I'm bringing all this up, and I'm going to get to it in a second. But I want to address the second thing that fascinated me when you have the personality change. That manifested my life when I sobered up, January 6, 1991. My life and my personality, my destiny, everything changed. I'm going to cross the road here. Try not to get run over. So, anyways, yeah, so I was thinking about this, and I think about it all the time. 31 years sober now, and life's been very, very good to me. And I think about all the experiences and the way I've expanded. My personality has changed. And this is something that everybody achieves and sees, and if they're open to it and if they stay sober. So I'm going to use the word sober when I'm describing the sense of self that is a new sense of self where you feel that you've achieved this new level, okay? So if I say sober, that's what I mean. That means a lot of things. It doesn't just apply to using or abusing drugs or alcohol or cigarettes or whatever addiction du jour might be afflicting anyone. It means living life right, day to day, hour by hour, week by week, year by year. So if you're driving down the road and traffic's really bad and somebody cuts you off and you explode in a fit of rage, you're not living a sober life, if you know what I mean. So that's just one small example. There's 101,000 ways that manifests. So there's a wisdom that occurs in sobriety, a new sense of self, and it's really something that happens, and it allows your gifts to shine. So one of the many things that happened to me was I took some university courses, and I discovered Joseph Campbell. You know Joseph Campbell. He wrote the book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces, and he talks about the journey of the hero. And it's a journey we all take. And when we take that journey, we follow our bliss. And we get onto a path that is running parallel to our lives that we didn't know was there the whole time. But when we get onto it, we discovered a whole new way of living. And that, in a sense, is what I'm talking about. So you discover for the first time, and I'm going to speak for myself. I discovered for the first time a sense of discipline, a sense of self, a sense of, instead of constant dopamine hits, a sense of delayed gratification. And it's absolutely amazing. There's physical health, mental health, spiritual health. All of these things start to grow and manifest from a whole new level, a whole new area, because the garden is being planted in very fertile ground, so to speak. You know, I use a lot of metaphors today. I get it. So, but anyways, yeah. Now the seeds are planted earlier, and I think the seeds are unique to each and every one of us. Those two examples I gave you earlier are just two seeds that stuck with me because I was fascinated. I don't know why. We're fascinated by stuff, and for whatever reason we find them truer to our own uniqueness than we do other potentially fascinating things. So look at the beach. Lots of music down here. So what happens too, if you head down this path, shame starts to erode, and you get to shine through it with the support of your own actions and discipline and others, in a healthy environment and a sense of spirituality. You know, the call to adventure, the call to adventure that Joseph Campbell talks about. So yeah, personal wisdom, patience, responsibility, sense of self,